Hello, praise Jesus, praise God. Today I want us to talk about a topic that's many of you have asked about. It's altars and covenants. So most of us are being affected by things that we don't understand. And you're like, I've done everything that there is to do in life, but my life is not going in front. My life looks stagnant. My life literally obulamu nga bukusobedde. So today I want us to talk about something that many of us do not know and have not considered. In as much as you're educated, in as much as you're beautiful, in as much as you've worked so hard, in as much as you're a man who has money, in as much as you've worked your way through life, but you still find that there are certain things that are affecting you. So let's look at a topic of one of the things that could be affecting us without our consent. Genesis 12 talks about Abraham's blessing. Abraham entered into a covenant with God, and God agreed to bless him and to bless every generation that comes out of him. That's a covenant that we all are walking under. We have the blessing of Abraham just because we come from the lineage of Abraham, because he's the father of faith and he's the father of nations. So by the virtue that Abraham entered into a covenant with God, we literally are under subject of that covenant. So I want us to understand that there are so many covenants that are affecting our lives, that are preventing us from going ahead, or that are affecting us positively without our consent. So there are two types of altars. There's what we call a diabolic altar, that is an altar that is aided by an evil spirit, and then we have good altars, the altars that are aided by good spirits. So an altar is an oath of spiritual activities. On an altar, it's a place where spiritual activities take place. First and foremost, I want you to understand that spirits cannot manifest in the physical realm unless they've been given a pathway, or they've been given a portal for which to interact in the physical. You need to know that when God created the earth, or God being a God of protocol, it's not a must that whatever you see must happen anywhere. Just like us, we cannot go and enter into heaven in this physical body. We must shed this body for us to enter heaven. So the same way, spirits cannot come to earth unless they've gotten a portal, or they've gotten a body onto which to exist onto earth. So spirits found a way to interact into the earth without actually accessing bodies, and that is through altars. So altars, when an altar is raised, it gives a chance to spirits to move from the spiritual or the celestial realm into the physical realm. So an altar is a portal of spiritual activities. Also, an altar is a system of authorization where humanity meets divinity. On altars, destinies are decided. So since we know that on altars destinies are decided, and spirits use altars as a portal to either affect us positively or negatively, I want us to talk about the different types of altars that affect us. One, we have what we call the ancestral altars, or what we call family altars. Have you ever noticed that things that affected your father, things that affected your singer, things that affected your grandparents are affecting you to today? There are families where you find people dying of cancer. And then you're like, jaja yaina cancer, jaja wa mama yaina cancer, senga yaina cancer, nange kati nina cancer. Or all your siblings have cancer, or you look at all your aunties are passing away from the same illness. That is an ancestral altar. A diabolic covenant or a diabolic altar of cancer was raised in your family. And that being that, just like we looked in Genesis 12, that covenants are generational, altars are generational. So what affected your what affected your forefathers will affect you because someone raised an altar. I'll give you an example. If your grandparent raised an altar and then sacrificed something, probably for riches or something, and then gave all his girl children, maybe gave his girl children and said, everyone in my lineage shall not get married, as a way of serving you. So where now, fast forward 2024, you fail to get married and you're wondering, I am a beautiful woman. I am, everything that there is to do for you to get married is done, but you're not actually getting married. And when you look back, your aunties are not married. The ones who get married actually end up in failed marriages. Or everyone in your family just has kids. Bazalira kuluja. So the altar that was raised by your grandparents in the past as a sacrifice for something is generational, and it is affecting you today. So we are affected by family altars, whether we consent to them or not. Another altar is territorial altar, or what we call locational altars or environmental altars. Have you ever noticed you can stay in a place and in that place people do not actually prosper? Or in that place everyone ends up a drunkard? Or in that place people, buli agezaako gaggawala, buli agezaako okuvaayo, like yakola ki, yabonaabona, yafa, ebintu bimutuukako. Most areas are ruled by principalities, and it's only those principalities that agree or set up a way of life or lifestyle in a place. Ojja kusanga ebifo nga Katanga, ebifo nga Kisowera, nga buli muntu ne bw'oba ng'ozze kukola business, like you have money and you want to set up a business in that place, you will either end up a drunkard or you end up a prostitute, because there is a spirit that leads, there's a principality that controls that place. So by the virtue of you settling in that place, you've placed yourself under that principality. Another altar is verbal altars. Verbal altars are covenants we make, or are altars we raise by ourselves verbally. For example, marriage is a verbal altar. You enter into a vow on an altar with someone to stay with them for the rest of your life. And if you don't, let's say you take divorce or something, there are consequences, the things that are affected, because you entered into a covenant with a person, the things that affected that person or the spirits that affected that person will automatically affect you. Or have you ever noticed the things we say while we are in love? Things like, I will not succeed without you, and then you break up with the person, and then you actually notice, goodness, I cannot actually live without this person, or since this person left me, things are going on like this. Those are also verbal covenants. Then we also have witchcraft altars. Witchcraft altars are altars that are made through witchcraft, where our spirits are summoned through use of points of contacts. Clothes can be used, pictures can be used, and someone summons your spirit on an altar to alter your destiny so that they are able to control you. So these are some of the altars that affect us. In as much as we do what we do, we can be affected by these altars knowingly and unknowingly. So next time I'll come to teach about how to break these altars. Thank you.